Within the heart of nature is a most powerful force, known to the wise and mocked by the foolish. The four faces of the pyramid look inwardly in homage of its presence. This is the stone of the wise, the foundation stone of the world.
Secret ways of belonging, a life of searching and longing.
A flower of great beauty,
We can do what we love and what we believe.
radiant as the flame of truth.
I close my eyes to see what I can see.
The staff of the wise is the light of the world.
But I had already seen, and I hope that these dreams go on for infinity. And I hope that these dreams go on for infinity.
I'm Paul Tisdell. The four seasons govern our lives in many ways. The clothes we wear, the food we eat, the activities we pursue. Even our economic system has its seasonal adjustments. To the farmer, the seasons are all important. Not so long ago, the seasons were celebrated by social ritual. These social rituals go back to the beginning of time. I'd like to read to you a few sentences from the holy book of the Kabbalists, called the Zohar. It is also known as the Book of Splendor, or the Book of Enlightenment. When God wished to create, He threw over His radiance a veil. He formed an image on the veil, and this image smiled at Him, and He regarded this image as His own, so that He might create man in accordance with it. In Genesis it says, God created man in His image and likeness. The ancient Hermetic teaching expresses an integral relationship between nature, man, the cosmos, and deity. From this relationship stems the premise that man is the microcosm of the macrocosm. That is to say, in man can be found via the law of sympathy all that is. This concept gives rise to the ancient statement, "Man, know thyself, and you shall know all." The all is held within a web of harmonies. To know thyself is to find this relationship of harmony. This is the foundation upon which rests the staff of the wise. There was once a young disciple of the Master Po. She came to Po one morning quite distraught. Throwing her book down, she said, "This ancient book is sexist. There is no place for a woman in this concept of God." Po said, "Things are not always as they appear, my child. Let me explain why this is so. Then you may find peace in yourself and with God." When you look upon a lit lamp, you see no sex, just a light. The lamp itself and the flame are insignificant to the purpose of the lamp. The lamp is the feminine, and the flame the masculine. The very nature of these things demonstrate this truth. In a way, the lamp holds within its womb the child of the desire to create light. In Genesis it said, "And the Spirit of God hovered over the waters of the deep, and said, Let there be light, and there was light." This desire we may term the father of the lamp and light. The lamp protects our inner being, or flame, from the elements, so that this flame may achieve its desired purpose, that of creating the light of life. And Christ saith, "I and the Father are one." The desire for light and the light are united throughout all the worlds. The lamp, a pure virgin, heavenly blessed, to hold the Father's seed, and her shape, the lamp, is that of Venus, the morning star. Revelations 22, the Son of David and the bright and morning star. In the heavens we see not the shape of Venus, only her light, or child. And this is called the Son, for it is one with the Father, or the desire for light. In another way, darkness is the mother of all light, as non-existence is the mother of all existence. In the womb of Venus is a child of light, and this child is of both genders. It is the fire of earth, the purifier of matter. For the flame is the earthly fire, carrying the divine will to be, as the body is the carrier of our being. Know this great truth. We are all daughters, carrying our inner light, but we are only ever sons when we realize this light. When looking at a lit lamp, the lamp becomes invisible, for the light shineth on all who come within its presence. Love all, serve all. The relationship between our inner and outer worlds determine our path in life. For many, there is no obvious relationship between our internal being, our attitudes, etc., and the world we live. In reality, they are only separated by a thin veil, and that thin veil is our perception of who and what we are. Our body can be never separate from either world, for it is made from these elements of nature and reacts to them. It must also have a balanced supply of these elements. But I'm not talking of the complex elements of our modern science. I'm referring to the traditional 4 elements of nature: fire, water, air, and earth. These elements may appear at first glance to be far more gross than the elements of science, but in reality they are much subtler and have a greater impact on our total being. Let us firstly consider our diet. We need a degree of fibre to maintain the most essential bodily functions. This fibre enables our waste to go back to the earth and make it fertile. Let us consider it as the element earth. We also need a quantity of water to maintain our well-being. If we have too little, then we will take on the appearance of the earth when it is parched and become dry and taunt. And if we have too much, we take on the other extreme. When there are great floods on the earth, there is for man a great danger of epidemic disease, and that disease affects the lymphatic system. There are also very obvious comparisons between flood and drought of the earth and of our bodies. We cannot last long without air. Interestingly, our air is very dependent on the relationship between the plant kingdom and the rest of the environment. Lastly, the element fire. Fire is really the element of digestion. We generate our own internal fire, but we are reliant on an external source of heat to maintain our existence. In this way, we are like all creation, interdependent on these elements. And strangely enough, it is this interdependence of creation, working in harmony, that maintains the elemental structure that we all exist in. From all these things, creation extracts one thing that gives it life and animation. It is energy. And without energy, we cannot even conjure a thought. Energy is the first and the last, the alpha and the omega. And by tradition, this fifth element is called the spirit. Before us is a simple yet dynamic law of existence. The five elements, fire and its symbol, demonstrates a triplicity that goes up as does the flame. Water, a triplicity that runs down to a centre. Air, as it radiates from the vegetable kingdom up into the atmosphere. Earth, for it is always drawn to a centre. And the wheel of spirit, suggesting its recyclable nature. I am the alpha and the omega, the wheel of life. This law of nature expresses itself just as dynamically in the geometry of the pentagram. Nature constantly expresses a dynamic in the mathematical formula of PHI, or the golden means. This can also be seen in the ratio of one ring to another in a spiral, or the ratio of the skeleton of a leaf to its substance. Our bodies are within this ratio. The line of a pentagram dissects the other lines at this ratio, and this is known as the expression of life force energy, or our spirit principle. The pentagram demonstrates the law of nature, that is to say, that the correct proportion of these elements create a perfect pentagram, or life. One of the greatest marvels of human architecture is the Great Pyramid, which is structured from this very formula. Firstly, we have a circle squared. The square aligns to the four directions, which are representatives of the four great elements of nature. The height is the ratio PHI, or golden means, of the length of one side of the square. The pyramid produces the energy of life, the Great Spirit, as above, so below. The Sphinx, who sits in silent abode at the Great Pyramid, demonstrates this also. It has the body of a bull, the legs and tail of a lion, the wings of an eagle, and the head of man. These are the cherubim of the biblical prophet Ezekiel. They also appear at the fall of man, guarding the way to the tree of life. Just as from the elements we extract the energy to give us life, so the cherubim guard the way to the energy of the tree of life. The staff of the wise is in four divisions, each relating to an element, a season, a cherub. And joined together, they represent the Sphinx, the guardian of the Great Pyramid, the building containing the secret formula of life. The pyramid is aligned to the four directions, and these four great directions are evident within the four seasons of nature. In man, like the pyramid, there are these four great divisions: Yod, He, Vor, He. They are also known as the humours: sanguine, choleric, phlegmatic, and melancholic. These four basic types demonstrate the basic traits within our makeup. These are a few keys to the nature of each of the humours. You may be able to identify some of your own elemental traits. These traits can be ascertained by observation of oneself and others. This kind of observation is in many ways similar to how a homeopath will observe a patient in order to select the correct medicine. The Hermetic practitioner has ways of balancing this elemental nature in order for the higher nature to sit upon the throne above the wheel and cherubs of the prophet Ezekiel's vision. The Merkabah, the liberation of consciousness from the elemental nature to sit upon the throne of the king. This is the work of the staff, for the holder of the staff controls the elements, lord of the elemental nature, freed from the wheel of entrapment. One's elemental balance can also be obtained by viewing our astrological chart and adding up the signs in an elemental way. Each sign is ruled by an element, and we have many heavenly elements that make up our chart, not just what is called our sun sign. In the art of the Hermetic, these elements can be balanced, and we may find a peace in such a harmony. As the spine is the backbone of our body, so the staff is the backbone of our spiritual body. Remember, seeker of wisdom, the four sides of the base of the pyramid is the foundation upon which rests the spirit of life, a spiritual life. At times we may identify an aspect of these four within us, but like the pyramid, we are not just a square foundation. There is a height, and that height rises from a triangular side. The height or capstone we may consider as heaven, and where the foundation rests, we may call the earth. There are two paths to this heaven, the male and the female, the yin and the yang. We also have five senses. The sense of smell is a representative of the element earth. The sense of taste is a representative of the element water. The sense of sight, the representative of fire. And feeling, air. Our hearing is the spirit. So which spirit are you listening to? One that creates unity, understanding, and wisdom? Or one that creates division, misunderstanding, and discord? Is the spirit elemental or spiritual? The late Kabbalist Carlos Suarez reveals the original Hebrew script of Genesis had two spellings of Satan. Both sound the same, but the numerical difference makes them worlds apart. The first is spelt Shin Tayet Nun, Shaitan, meaning the breath of God breathed into an ovum produced a being who is separate from creation. This, by tradition, is the bad Satan. The next spelling is the same, except the N sound is written in what is called the final script, giving it a larger numerical value. The meaning of the word changes, and that is the same process of the spirit and ovum, but it produces a being that is open to all possible possibilities, or, in other words, not separate, but able to find and experience God in all things. As I said, what spirit are you listening to? One who is divisive and separate from the greater harmony? Or one who is a part of this harmony, not separate? Good ideas or bad ideas? Be careful. Choose wisely. And the disciple asked Poe, "How do I find the truth within the duality of good and bad?" Good and bad are both subjective things, as yin and yang. You need both yin and yang, for neither one is the truth. And the Master spoke, "The flame is not the light or the darkness. It stands between the extremes. Yes, it creates light, or what you may term as the good. But if you light a candle in the light, it creates no obvious light. Only against the darkness does it shine. Just as with the wise, only in the time of trial are they sought and do they shine. And as for the flame that stands between the darkness and the light, it is the law of purification. It transmutes the burnt offerings on the path of return. It burns upwards, and this is the law of the return to heaven, the law of liberation and light. The flame has 4 divisions, as does the staff of the wise. What defines a law of nature, Master? It is something that is set, that is unchangeable within the bounds of harmony. Only the Creator can change these things. This is why the flame is a law, for no matter what you do to a natural flame, it will only ever burn upwards. And this is what makes it a law. It shows us the way of purity, of clarity, and of truth. One may argue over what is good and what is evil, but the truth is universal and unshakable, even by the most persuasive intellects. The 4 sides of the pyramid and the triplicity of the height give us a simple equation of 3 plus 4 equals 7. We have 7 days of creation, day and night. The mathematical formula to find the circumference of a circle, or the all, is 22/7, pi. The diameter of the circle is 7 divisions long, and it divides the circle into 2, day and night. The circumference of the circle will be 22 of these 7 divisions that the diameter is 7 of. As I said, 7 divides the circle into 2, day and night. Between light and darkness is our flame. The flame has 4 basic divisions: the burning wick, a blue-black flame that rests upon the wick, and a white light that rests upon it, and a subtler, all-encompassing light. And they are representatives of the 4 great letters of the holy name, to which we are in the image of. The 4 divisions of the flame are united by a spirit that gives the flame life. This spirit or divine fire, is represented by the letter Shin, a three-pronged flame, three principles in one, just as the height of our pyramid has three principles. These 5 letters, 4 of which are individual and 1 is 3 in 1, also gives us the addition of 7, or the diameter that divides our circle into day and night. But our line is 1 in the centre of 2 halves. It is really 3 principles within one, all within the all. The diameter and the flame are one, the Christ between the 2 thieves. The ancient Taoist system has 5 elemental divisions. That with the division of yin and yang give us the same premise, 7. The knowledge of the correct balance and harmony of these 7 divisions maintain health and well-being. This is considered a great wisdom. Within the Kabbalistic tradition, the elements sit upon the pentagram, the letters of the great name, Yod-He, Vor-He, and the letter Shin is representative of the Spirit of God that hovered over the deep, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Yod-He Shin Vor-He spells the name Yeshua, the Redeemer. This translates to Jesus. This is the Christ between the 2 thieves, the staff of the wise. In the story in Genesis of the serpent that seduced Eve into the fall of flesh, we find the forbidden fruit in the centre of the garden would make one wise. This is that serpent. And at the fall, the Lord placed 4 cherubim and a flaming sword that turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. Our staff has 4 divisions, as above, so below. For the performing of the miracles of one thing, by the mediation of this one thing, so all things arose. The father of it is the sun, the mother of it is the moon. The wind carried it in her belly, the nurse thereof is the earth. In our calendar we have 4 seasons, all consummated by a special day. These are the equinox and the solstices. The seasons are the elements of the calendar, and the equinox and solstice are the cherubim. Undertaking the passage of the staff is a 12 months journey of self-knowledge and conquest, overcoming the elemental aspects of our inner makeup. This process has been considered by many to be an aspect of the alchemical jewel, the philosopher's stone, the stone of the wise. At the end of each season, upon the completion of one's inner work, a quadrant of the staff will be consummated, and at the end of 12 months, the staff shall be completed. A fitting consummated representative of a worthy quest, and when held, conjures all the strength and authority befitting one who has become the centre of the 12 months' work. In the centre of the staff is a rod of the alchemic metal of Venus, who is the ruler of nature. And what is it, my child, that unites the 2 extremes? Love, Master. Love is the light of the world, for I and the Father are one.